I definitely think next year we could probably just stand outside of it, enjoy it just as much.
Yeah, that's what I that's what I mentioned, that people can just stand up on that barricade thing and just watch from the street. I'm Tesla, and this is Magically Mindful. Here I share my journey of growth and what it means to live authentically through life's polarity, the messy and the magical, the highs and the lows, and everything in between. Think of this as an open diary for your soul, here to remind you that you're never alone. It's arguably one of my most favorite times of the year. It is Badlands season here in Calgary. Badlands is a EDM festival that happens during Stampede. And the Stampede is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, rodeos in the world. I've never attended the Stampede, so I can't give you the lore about her. But I do know that it brings in millions of people year after year. And during the Stampede, there are a lot of fun events. And so the one that I partake in is Badlands. And it's a tent downtown where from Thursday, July 4th was this year until today, presently, July 12th, there is live music every single night. So I think the doors typically open at 6 and then the headliner ends by midnight, but I'm pretty sure there's nowhere else in the world that can compare to that. Like, have you ever heard of an 11-day festival? I certainly have not, aside from Badlands. And then there's also the Cowboys music tent, which, if you ask me, I will never recommend going there because it's the most rowdiest crowd. But what I will say is that this year with Badlands, I purchased a Outlaw Pass. My boyfriend and I did, actually. And what is an Outlaw Pass? It gives you entry every single night of the festival. And last year, I actually vlogged my experience, and that was starring one of my favorite people, Gary. And he actually inspired me to get an Outlaw Pass this year. Like, he didn't even have to say it, it was just like by example. He inspired me because last year, also, oh yeah, this is, I don't know how well this is gonna work. We're trying to trying to eye mask and podcast, but your girl needs a little pick me up for the last day. So, anyways, last year Gary went every single night. And here I was thinking that this year I would vlog it again. No. Very interesting because the first and last year where I ever buy an Outlaw Pass, being this year, I was so exhausted. Like, a couple days into it, I was like, "Holy shit." And I am 3 years of into my sobriety, and I have attended Badlands every year that I've been sober. Because I think the first time that I went, it was 2022, and yeah, I mean, for whatever reason this year, like, I just did not have the tolerance for the bullshit of the crowd. And what I mean by that is, like, ultimately, yeah, it's being a sardine packed under this tent in the heat, and then obviously alcohol, drugs, all of the things are involved happening around me. And so the first night that we went, Mao P was performing, and he is a DJ that I love and have never seen. So I was super excited to see him. And he has a song called Tesla. So of course, when that song came on, I was feeling myself, but literally a minute into it, all of the sudden, and I'm wearing this like beigey champagne colored dress. It's like practically see through. It's very thin. It's like a silk material, like the dress I'm currently wearing. And I'm dancing, I'm getting into it. It's my song, literally my song. It's called Tesla. And then all of the sudden, someone ate shit behind me, and my whole dress was drenched in God knows what fucking liquor. Thank God for my boyfriend Brandon, because we were trying to figure out like how to, because it was sticking to my skin, and I was like, how do we, like, I can't have this. Like, okay, it's one thing that it's wet, but I don't want to be feeling this against my skin. But he grabbed our empty water bottle and then like put it between me and the dress, and it actually aired out very quickly. But that being the first night, And it was just yeah, like, it was a shit show because there's this giant tent, and when you're looking at the stage, the left side, there's, like, a wall along the side, a fake grass wall, because it's covering up the VIP area, which is to the left of the stage, but then when you go to the right of the stage, that is where the literal street is. Like, some people will go to Badlands, but they're just standing outside of the tent because you can step up on this, like, I don't even know what to call it. Some sort of like barricade ledge thing that blocks off the road so that there's more of a pathway for pedestrians. People will just stand there and like you can see the stage. But anyways, with that side of the tent, there is more space, like because you can actually like get out from under the tent but still be right in the action. So that's kind of the layout of it all. But on that side, the right side, which is where we were during Mao P, there are actually these little like wooden blocks that you can stand on. Like, are they meant for standing? No, but they're great for someone like me to stand on because it's pretty much foolproof in the sense that no one's going to like walk into you, although sometimes people don't see the blocks and then they trip, which is what happened twice right behind us. And the first time it happened, this poor girl tripped over this block and then fell into the garbages and it got knocked over and she actually like broke the wooden block, like it was like in pieces. So what was already a hazard then became a huge hazard. And then lo and behold, when Tesla was playing during Mao P, this guy who was already wasted, like, ate shit over it and his phone went flying. Brandon picked it up and gave it back to him. Like, he didn't even realize he lost his phone. Like, I don't know, for that to be like night one already sets the tone for like, what are the next 10 days going to be like? And yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, Badlands has become like my favorite thing to do. Like I wait for it all year long. Like I anticipate it honestly because I don't like really go to the club like I will once in a blue moon. But for whatever reason, like I hibernate and then the first couple weeks of July when the stampede comes, when it's Badlands season, then I'm like ready to rage essentially, but again, as a sober girly. And so I bought my Outlaw Pass in October because it was the cheapest price you'll get. That was the early bird price, which was probably just over $300. And then, I mean, Brandon bought his pass in April and he paid like 5 something for his. I don't know at the by the final tier, like, because I think he bought his tier 5, but I think it's gone up to tier 7, if not more. But it just I don't know, it goes up and up and up, but it's worth it to buy the Outlaw Pass because if you just buy tickets for each night, it's like at least $100 a night. And I mean, now after having experience being able to go every night, like I'm glad we did it, but I'm just like it's not a true rave crowd because it's during the stampede and what I mean by that is that, like, not everyone is there for the music, like, they're there to get fucked up, which is, like, not my reality, that's not my journey anymore, and so, it's just a very different experience versus if you're going to Tomorrowland or Shambhala in BC, like, those are true rave crowds, those are people who are there for more of the right reasons. Don't get me wrong, of course, people are always gonna get fucked up at festivals, but it's extra special during the stampede because it's like you could get people rolling in over from the stampede, which I find that specifically with the Cowboys tent, which is like I've only partaken in Cowboys Music Festival once to see Tate McRae, which was a horrible way to experience a true performer because it's like she was in this little tent. I could barely see her because the crowd was a shit show, but, yeah, we'll never do that again. So, That being said, it was special though because that was her first time where she actually performed in Calgary and actually her only time performing in Calgary, probably because our venue for concerts sucks, which is the Saddle Dome. It's just super run down. And actually, so yes, Brandon and I have had an Outlaw Pass, but we in fact have not gone every single night. The first night we didn't attend was the first Saturday because we went to ASAP Rocky at the Saddle Dome. And lo and behold, I mean, back in the day, and I mean really back in the day, when I was absolutely obsessed with Hilary Duff, so obsessed that I was in her fan club, like, she had because yeah, back in those days, like, there were true fan clubs, like, put on by her team, and I grew up in Edmonton, but I don't know what year this would have been. It was for the Dignity tour, actually, and we went on the fan club, like, my mom and I, and we managed to well, my mom managed to get my friend and I meet and greet tickets for Hillary's show at the Saddle Dome here in Calgary. Again, so many years ago. I'll put the year on the screen because I don't know off the top of my head. And so that was the first time I've ever been to the Saddle Dome, but, I mean, after that, I don't even know when I would have been back. Maybe there was a time that I forget, but if not, that was the first time, and then a few years ago, so, like, decades later, over a decade later, I saw 50 Cent, and that was super fun, but when we went to ASAP, something happened, and I mean, it could be attested to the fact that it's the Stampede and the Stampede well, the Saddle Dome, I believe it is on the Stampede grounds or, like, it's right next door to it, and for whatever reason, something was happening and ASAP was not happy and he was like saying that the power went out. So something was happening where like we couldn't really hear him and they had to like stop the show for like 10 minutes. So anyways, yeah, our our concert venue not the best. Like I would have loved to have been able to see him in Edmonton actually at Rogers because it's like state of the art compared to here, but apparently, they are building a new venue here in Calgary, a new concert and, like, hockey concert venue, hockey arena, all the things, but, like, when is it gonna be open? Who fucking knows? I don't know. I'm not here to tell you that because we'll just have to wait and see. But that was the one night when we didn't go to Badlands, and then I really am not a trance girly. I love house music. I mean, to be very specific right now, the era of music I'm in is UKG. I love Silva Pump is my favorite DJ. So, really, I've been I'm just dying to get my ass back to Europe to attend some of these their festivals because I'm just, like, so in love with that music right now, but that being said, I love house music, and I actually will get down to dubstep, and one of my favorite nights of Badlands thus far has actually been one of the dubstep nights, but I really was like said to Brandon, I'm like, "Babe, I don't wanna go the trance nights," which was Above and Beyond, and then there was LSR City, which is Gareth Emery's, laser show, so we did not go those nights, but what I will say is that crowd-wise, those would be the nights to go because those are plur crowds. Those are the true raver crowds where people are respectful of your space more so than like a P night. And tonight, at the time of recording, it is the final night and it's Chris Lake, which is super exciting because we love Chris Lake. And honestly, thank God that they chose him to send it off. Last night was Loud Luxury, which is not a duo I ever have cared to see. And last night completely proved to me why, because they are not it. They are not it. I'm looking over at Brandon because he knows that too. And we left early. Like, by the time we were home, it was just before midnight. So, whatever, but we still had a great time. I would love for you to share your experience because Brandon, having just moved here, it's been his first Badlands. So, you want to come and share? Okay, welcome to the pod, my love.
Hi, it's amazing to be here.
He's a longtime listener, viewer.
Number 1 fan right here.
Tell us about your first Badlands experience.
Well, unlike any other rave I've been to, it's, like, under a tent, so it's really cool. I really, like, enjoy that, and I like what they did with the lasers, how they set them up on top and the bottom. They looked really cool. The only thing I would say was, the people attending it, not the best crowd.
That's why this year I've been like, "Hell no." Told them, I'm like, "I haven't had the tolerance for it."
Yeah, I don't blame you at all there. Like, not the greatest crowd. Other than that, like, the people that are good, great time. So, I'm gonna give it, like, an 80 out of 100
An 80
for my
80 out of
first
100.
experience, yeah, first experience.
Why did you choose out of 100 versus 10?
Because I thought it would be better.
Wow.
More statistically accurate.
What is one thing that's surprised you about it?
Uh, I'm very surprised at, like, the amount of stuff other than, like, the stage, like, everything's really close together, isn't really many vendors. I thought there'd be more stands of people selling stuff, like food and stuff like that, but, I guess it's kinda good because there isn't really too much space for them to do all that.
Yeah, like, it's downtown in, like, a concrete parking lot, essentially. It's, like, more narrow and long versus wide.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely think next year we could probably just stand outside of it, enjoy it just as much.
Yeah, that's what I that's what I mentioned, that people can just stand up on that barricade thing and just watch from the street.
Yeah. Well, the only nights I was really looking forward to was last night's side piece. Mao P was amazing, my favorite night, and, the crowd sucked. Um, and then Chris Lake, because Chris Lake is, like, my top favorite DJ. He was my first DJ I ever saw.
Me too.
Yeah. Twinning.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tonight is well, I guess I said that already that we're seeing Chris Lake, which is exciting. I don't know what to expect because they emailed saying, "Oh, here's a complimentary pass for you and a guest, but you have to get in by 8:30." But then I had messaged Gary and he's like, "Yeah, I think they're hurting for liquor sales or something." But it's bad because now it's going to be over capacity probably.
Yeah, I don't really like the sardine can aspect of it, but I do think we will have an amazing time tonight.
We will, and what I will also say, my 2 favorite nights was Dom Dalla, which was the first Sunday, and we were not under the tent, we were far back, so we didn't have to deal with, like, the chaos of the crowd, and also the same thing which was on my favorite dubstep night, which was Levity Back to Back Alley Cat, and it was nice because, yeah, we were all the way at the back, like, not even under the tent, but what's kind of good about that is, like I said, like, it's not as crazy for people, but then also you can see the whole show, and yeah, Brandon brought up a good point about the lasers, like, honestly, the production this year, like, what they do well is, like, every year they top the last year, like, they in terms of production, like, it always is just better and better, so I'm very grateful for that. So, tonight should be really great for that.
Yes, I think we should definitely do a little cameo and, like, vlog it a bit, and then maybe post some of that. I think that'd be
Ooh, yeah, we can do that for sure. What's one thing that you've learned about me during this experience?
you can't be rushed. Uh, you're the best at dancing.
I am.
Yeah,
I am.
because no one else dances.
Oh, yeah.
That was just
That's
joking.
yeah. I dance better when we're at home, like, in the kitchen. That's my true dance floor.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. The only time I'll shuffle is when you're around.
And there's been times where I've been like, "Shuffle right now," and then he won't.
Yeah, no, I noticed over the years that people just gradually stopped dancing, and it's like, why would I embarrass myself with my dance moves?
He wouldn't embarrass himself. He wouldn't. What I will say is that my I like that you said that so kindly that, like, I can't be rushed, but I don't know. I am not a girly who subscribes to the concept of time because I'm like, "Oh, yeah, we c" like, basically for anything in my life, if I am like, "I wanna be there at this time," that time turns into the time that I leave at.
Yes, agreed.
And poor Brandon is a punctual king, and I've been hurting him for sure.
It's okay. I get to pet the kitty, so that's alright.
All right, thanks for sharing your experience.
Thank you for having me, and it was lovely to introduce myself.
Yay! You're free to go. Oh. Okay, how fun. Our first cameo. Love that. Also, Brandon is in the midst of cleaning our whole patio. So thank God we love him so much for that. But yeah, I think it is really interesting that for the first year where I got the Outlaw Pass, it's like the first year where I was like, "Am I over this? Like, have I outgrown this now?" No, I don't really think it's that I've outgrown it, but I think what I realized is that what has made the past couple years of attending Badlands so magical is just going for a couple of nights. But also, it is a better deal to do the Outlaw Pass, and the thing is, people will sell some of the ni like, if they don't wanna go all 11 nights, they'll sell their Outlaw Pass for the night, but it is a risk to do that because it's only 1 QR code for every single night. So, you could risk, like, yeah, because 'cause I've bought an Outlaw Pass off of someone the past couple of years just for the night, and they sent it to me through WhatsApp with, like, a 2-second disappearing message so it can only be viewed once, but I don't know, like, people are creative, like, could they not if I sold an Outlaw Pass my pass for one night, and then I do that with someone, but then they have a friend there, and then they just take a picture with their phone, like, I don't know, it's just it's a risk, especially because one of the nights we really wanted to attend is tonight, the last night, like, it wasn't worth risking it, but it is great if you do that because then you can totally profit. I just think because last year when the tickets would go on sale, because 'cause they'll announce artists, not all at once, like, throughout a couple of months. I don't know when they announced the first artist, and then when the last one got announced for the whole entirety of Badlands, but you buy if you're not doing the pass, like, you buy the individual nights as they are announced. That's how I have done it anyways, and then that's months before Badlands actually starts. So then I've found myself in previous years being like, "Oh my god, I didn't buy a ticket for this one night and now I really wanna go," and then I buy a ticket last minute, but mind you, I've never paid more than $100 even if I'm buying it, like, the day of off of someone else, but doing that, there is always a risk, so I don't know, I just think that next year, we definitely will not do an Outlaw Pass again, but I think especially with Brandon having just moved here and all of that, it was definitely worth it to experience it in this way. So, no regrets, but also in terms of my human design and, like, how I'm designed to operate, I did not the Tesla back in October who was like, "Oh my god, yes, I'm getting an Outlaw Pass," did not take that into consideration because I am someone who needs her hermit time, and I have an open solar plexus, which I've talked a lot about on various episodes throughout the podcast, which that just means in human design, it's the emotional center, and because mine is open, it means that I distort and amplify the emotions and energies of others when I'm out in the world, like, times 10, and so there have been some nights where it's like, okay, I've felt good leading up to arriving to the festival, and then as soon as we get in, I'm, like, in a bad mood, and I'm like, "Okay, am I picking up on someone else's energy? Proba-fucking-ly." So, it is just funny, and, like, honestly, there was a point by the middle of the week where we had been X amount of nights, and then I was feeling so burnt out, and then Brandon and I are, like, butting heads a little bit, but it was just so funny because as we then were resolving it, he was like, "You know, babe, it's not normal for anyone to be doing an 11-day festival." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." Like, so it is what it is, but it's not for the faint of heart. It is not for the faint of heart. And also, I feel like I'm really happy that we had Brandon share his experience with it because I feel like I'm being kind of, like, negative about it. I don't know. I'm not trying to be, but I'm just being so real that I'm like, yeah, I don't know, like, production-wise, this year has been amazing, but energy-wise, like and Brandon said so himself too, even just as for his first time having gone, like, the crowd is just not it, and that kinda sucks because the people make the place, but I I'm happy that we've done it, and I just thought I would share my experience because I'm like, I literally have nothing else to talk about. Like, this has been my life for the past almost 2 weeks, and also, thank God that my boss decided to take the Stampede week off because I only had to go into work twice this past week for a 5-hour shifts. So I'm like, thank God for that. Otherwise, I would have been DEAD dead. But luckily, for this final day, we are thriving. We're going to take the eye mask off and just enjoy our day and enjoy the last night, and definitely I will share some footage here. And also, what I will say is that if you want to purchase an Outlaw Pass, please make sure that you touch grass in between days because when we got to that point of burnout, we hadn't done anything else aside from Badlands for X amount of days. But then we decided to go out to Bragg Creek and spend some time in nature and be in the mountains. And then we also went to this beach near our place, and that completely changed the game. So just I mean, again, I know I'm speaking as a sober girly, and so people who are treating it as a bender might not have the energy to go and, like, do something else leading up to the festival, but I would highly, highly recommend it because it's so important to have a change of scenery, and, like, that is the one thing, like, Badlands would be immaculate if it was anywhere but downtown on a concrete frickin' pad. Like, it's just and once upon a time, because every year they kind of change the layout, not of the tent or the stage, but just of, like, the activations and things that like, because you enter, and then there's, like, this whole kind of area as you make your way to the tent where the main stage is. There is a small stage as well, but we have not partaken in her this year. But once upon a time, they used to have these huge bleachers, so you could be up in the bleachers standing or sitting and be able to see the stage, but they got rid of it, and I'd assume it was probably, like, a safety liability, but there's, like, nowhere to sit. Yes, this year they've put a bunch of picnic tables, but it's like you can't actually see the main stage from the tables. Like, there's just screens there of the stage, and then you also can't really hear as well, so I don't know. If anyone's watching from the Badlands team, this is my feedback, and thank God they also put out a survey every year too, so it's like you can actually provide feedback, and I will say they do listen. They do listen, so thank you for that. But this is my Badlands 2026 review. Enjoy this footage, and I'll see you in the next one.